Welcome back. It's time we dealt with this one. That time of year again, well, we've got to get the MOT done on the cleaver. So, first fire up in, got to be easy 6 months. I had a battery charger on a couple of days because the battery just does die out, to be fair, but thank you to the parts factors for selling us the wrong battery, which is fantastic. Anyway, long story short, starts up and runs, no trouble at all. So checking over for the MOT, I do know that the rear brake, the handbrake is a bit weak, to be fair. So I'm just going to jump straight in, get a look at that, and then I'll just sort of chase the rest through the car as I go. You can, if you're really particularly fiddly at it, the flat bladed screwdriver go in through there, and there's the adjuster's just in there. However, just to show you what it is I'm adjusting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the caliper off. There's only two 17mm bolts around the back of the caliper. Caliper will come off. The ABS sensor bracket will probably drop off as well, because I know they're held on with the same bolts. Take this screw out here, which thankfully the last time I fitted them, my copper slipped it, so it was nice and easy. And I'll take the disc off and just adjust it manually. I think that's going to be the quickest and easiest way to do it, and probably the best for you guys to see what's going on. So all I've done is I've took my screwdriver, try and get you in good and close here, let's have a look. Took my screwdriver and just wound this out, this little dial here, just wound that out so that it effectively, it pushed the shoes out over, just to make them a little bit closer to the contact of the drum, well, the disc drum. So older cars generally have this, no, newer cars now tend to have discs on the rear, so this is probably irrelevant to a lot of you guys, to be fair. The other thing I've done as well is I've washed the shoes down with some brake cleaner, just to sort of clean them out, get rid of the dust. I've scuffed up the inside, because obviously with the brake not working for a while, this is all corroded inside, so I've just scuffed up the inside a little bit just to get rid of the rust. And now I've got what I would consider it's a nice fit. You don't want it too tight, you don't want it too slack. Too slack and you'll not have a good brake. Too tight and it'll bind on and overheat. The other thing you need to make sure you do as well is make sure the handbrake cable's backed off as far as it'll go. Now I don't need to touch my handbrake cable because I never do. I never actually adjust it. Once I fit it, I adjust it the first time and that's it. I tend to leave it. What you'll find some unscrupulous garages will do, tighten up the handbrake cable rather than adjusting the back brakes. Now it doesn't make your brake efficiency any better. All it does is effectively it's no different to driving with your handbrake actually on, because all I do when I tighten up the handbrake cable is basically just pulling the handbrake up. So when you jump in, you go from like zip, 7 or 8 clicks, you've got click click click. Oh, the handbrake's lovely. It's not actually doing much better. All they've done is they've just took a load of slack out of the cable. So yeah, so all I normally do is, oh well, that's interesting. Yeah, all I do is so what we're going to do is we're going to remove the shoes because I've got a broken liner. Right, okay, so what I want to do now is all the effort I've just made putting that on, I now need to just back that all back off again. Just makes it a bit easier for getting the spring off and on, you know. Well, you probably don't know, I don't know. I don't know what you know and what you don't know. But there, right, so that's that backed right off as far as I can get it now. Now, just pop that out of there. Right, so there's the adjuster there that I was talking about. See, so if you imagine, that groove there and that groove there are locked over the top of your shoes. So as you turn, that, do you see how it's getting bigger there? So it's pushing the So it's pushing the shoes out over to bring them closer to your drums. Now in an ideal world, obviously you want them as close to your drums as you can get them, as I say, without actually touching and binding on. So next I would so luckily these backing plates, believe it or not, were replaced not that long ago, so they're not in bad shape, although I should really give them a clean up and a lick of paint probably, because they're starting to corrode. But I know a lot of backing plates on the inside, the fitting kit thing that I'm taking off now won't actually be connected because it corrodes and pulls out. So what you've got is there. So that's what I was trying to get out there. Right, so what you've got, there's a reason why I hate doing brakes, and this is it. So what you've got is when they go in, see how it's like, so effectively it's like a bayonet, like a light bulb. So you plug it in, turn it 90 degrees, and that actually locks in and holds your shoes in place. See? Yeah, locks your shoes in place. So once they're out, start to take the fitting kit out. So the top spring. So what I would do is I would generally lay these out. If it was going to be a while before I put them back together again, I would lay them out on the floor as they come off.
Sure.
Okay. So basically, that there is how I would leave them laid out, so I can actually see when I come to put them back together again how they go together. So my handbrake is still free, the handbrake arm. So what I'll do is run a wire wheel around these now, just clean them up, and then I give them a lick of paint. And do the same with the other side. As I've said, I've given them a lick of paint just to try and protect them a little bit. I'm gonna have to seriously do something with this car, because if I don't, it's gonna end up just dying out. Yeah, I'm suspecting some sort of rebuilds on the cards very soon. See how it goes.
Tomorrow.
So as I said last night, I'm going to paint it. Just give it a little bit of protection for now, just so I can get time to actually get it done properly. One thing I am going to do, I've got the new shoes now, one thing I am going to do is these little raised up bits here, I'll just put a little tiny slither of copper slip on there. All that does is it just helps just basically stops the brakes, helps stop the brakes from sticking. Effectively all I'm going to do is just assemble it back in the reverse order that I took it apart, and we'll go from there. hope that helped. Oh, my lights have gone flat. I hope that helped. I hate doing shoes because they're so fiddly getting the springs in. It makes it even more fiddly, the fact you've got the hub right behind you, so you're trying to work around the back or something. It is a bit of a nightmare, but it is doable. So effectively what I did was I put the bottom spring on in the two bottom holes, and I kind of hooked the two shoes up in there together, forced them around either side of the handbrake arm. Once I had that done, I clipped both my shoes into the backing plate, which is where some of you will possibly struggle with because there are some rotten backing plates out there. Clip both the shoes into the backing plate, then I put the top spring on, then I pull them apart with a screwdriver as you see, and just pop the adjuster in and then adjust it up. So what I do before I go any further, before I start and put all the calipers and that on, I just make sure that it's nice. That's the sort of so I've got there. It's just clipping the top. Obviously it's brand new shoes in there. It's new shoes in there, so it'll just knock the tops off them little high spots. So just make sure they're both free. And then what I like to do before I go any further, should I come with us? I'm just walking you around the car. Before I go any further is just pull the handbrake on. A couple of times. I find that just helps seat the shoes a little bit. So that's still good. That's still good. So there we go. So that's all I do. Just pull the handbrake on a couple of times to seat the shoes. Now, as I said at the very start of the video, I don't adjust my cable. I leave the cable where it is. Once the cable's fitted and set, it should be alright. It might need adjusted if it's brand new and you first sort of take it out, but if you do the adjustment from the back brakes, you should never need to adjust your cable. As you see in there, I've got 3 clicks on the cable now with the back brakes done and adjusted up where they should be. Before I did it, when the shoes had worn down, I had about 6 or 7 clicks on. The other thing I've done as well, the adjuster on the driver's side, I've turned that around, because for some reason that was 100% completely backed off, where the one on the passenger side wasn't backed off. That was still set to where it was. So I presume I've obviously getting sometime in the past when I've built it up, I've just put that in the wrong way. So instead of sort of holding its lock, it's backed itself off. If not, if it starts to back off again, then I've obviously got another issue going on. I'll need to deal with that as a separate time. But for the purposes of the MOT, that handbrake now is good. Once I put the wheels on, I'll give it a final check with the handbrake on. I've got a bit of leverage on the wheel so I can actually push it and just make sure it goes, but I'm pretty confident that'll be secure. Last night after I painted them backing discs, I checked the lights, checked the wipers and all that sort of stuff for the MOT. So the only thing we've got left to do once I build up the back brakes and put the back wheels back on is basically check the front end, make sure I've got no play or no sort of nothing in there. Don't think I have, because I haven't had any knocking or anything like that on there, but it always pays to just to check and give it a quick eyeball over, you know. If you can prevent a problem now, save it on the MOT. So yeah, so I'm not going to video it. All I'm going to do now is I'm just going to literally chuck the back calipers on, chuck the wheels on, pump up the brake pedal, because obviously you've disturbed the calipers and the pads will have opened out ever so slightly before you go to drive it. You'll lose a pedal. It's happened before in the past and it's quite interesting. So I'll chuck the back wheels on and then put a fork in it and call the back brakes done. So there we are, that's all I have time for. I'm going to knock it on the head for today, and you'll be pleased to know it did pass. I had one or two small, we'll call them advisories on it, nothing major, it's a bit of surface rust underneath. Basically the black and white of it is I need to start and address this now, I think, otherwise it's going to very rapidly escalate into into the Nova. So yeah, so I need to deal with that. So I'll probably deal with that at some point over the coming months. Just touch and go whether I deal with it this side of show season or power through, get show season out of the way, and then deal with it next year. You know, over the winter. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, I've got to work that bit out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to just drop a comment down below. Let us know what you thought. If you want to see a bit more content on the Calibra, then I'm more than happy to do that, just to give us a bit of a break from the Nova. It's entirely your call altogether. If you would like to support the channel, there are a couple of different ways you can do it. There's a couple of links down below. I'll put in the comments in the information section. There's a couple of links down below where you can donate money. It would be very much appreciated, and all donations will get ploughed straight back into either this build, that build, or generally the workshop itself. I do have a lot of big expenses coming up, obviously with the Hova coming up soon. So yeah, so there is that. The other way you can help contribute towards the channel is I have merch. Now got some hoodies. The hoodies have come in. I'll put a picture up here. The hoodies have come in. So we now have these for sale. I will basically just drop me a message anywhere on any of your social media, whether it be Instagram, on here, or Facebook. You can find the links for the other platforms down below. I think I might open up a shop on Facebook on my page. I'll just open up a little shop section so you can go there, just browse through. If you don't want to sort of drop comments, you can just have a browse through and see what you think. Yeah, it is a great way to support the channel, and you get something a little bit back for it in exchange as well, which is again very much thankful for. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'd like to thank the new subscribers. We've had a little boost, and thank you from Vauxhall Novas, I think it was, on Facebook, who give us a shout out. Much appreciated. That did give us quite a boost on subscribers. There's an extra few more went in there, which is all fantastic. It's all just keeping the motivation going. Yeah, so again, I would like to thank all the people who have watched, and if you made it through this far, congratulations. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we shall see you next week. Cheers.